The Better Than Cash Alliance. We'll say thank you to the Global Fund as well, Vilgro Africa, the Ministry of Health, as she mentioned earlier. We'll say thank you to the University of Global Health and Equity. I see one of them being here. We're going to say also thank you to the Novartis Foundation, even though they are the one hosting as well as collectively. I think it's always good to be acknowledged. So thank you, Sarah, for being here. And I'll continue saying thank you. But all the entrepreneurs who are here, thank you for being here. But also Dynasoft Ltd. The reason why, I don't know if they're here, would like you to stand. You guys will understand the reason why I want them to stand. They should get a lot of more clapping because it's the only it's the only Rwandan organization that actually made the cut for the 2025 cohort in the acceleration program. So I think we need to encourage them, we need to acknowledge them. We are so proud of you, and we know that you represent us quite well. I know it's a Pan-African program, but I think it's always good to have that. So congratulations again, and thank you for the amazing work that you're doing, and thank you for making it. I guess that's what I have. And thank you to Shari for being here. And now I will kind of like go to the presentation of our next speaker and guest. I'm smiling because I think as a woman I'm very inspired. So I'll read. Lucy Nshuti Mbabazi. She's the managing director at Better Than Cash Alliance. And she has been leading the Alliance of Africa policy advocacy and partnership efforts, working with regional and continental organizations to accelerate the adoption and usage of digital payments as a catalyst for digital financial inclusion for every African, notably the successful integration of responsible digital payment and digital public infrastructure into the African continental free trade area protocol on digital trade. Do you want me to continue? Because it's still long. Before joining Better Than Cash Alliance, Nshuti served as Ecobank Group Manager. And the fact that her name is Nshuti means, Nshuti in Kinyarwanda means a friend. So that's a good name. She served as Ecobank Group Manager, push payments and merchant acquiring, leading the development and deployment of merchant payment solution for not one country, but 33 countries across Africa. Country manager for Rwanda, Burundi, and Malawi for Visa Inc., and strategy and policy advisor to Rwanda Development Board IT department. So Lucy, as she's very busy at work, she's also giving back. Because she's the president of Emeritus of Girls in ICT Rwanda, which is inspiring more Rwandan, but also African girls to choose career in STEM. So I think we still have a long way to go, but for now, I think I'm sure you're all excited to see who the person is. She also holds a Master of Science in Public Policy from Harvard Kennedy School of Government. Guys, I think we need to really clap for her. So welcome, Lucy. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you. Good morning, Maramtse. Habari za asubuhi. Because we are in a Pan-African program, right? But it really is a privilege to be here. I always, I think outside of playing with my children from 6 a.m. in the morning, having these opportunities to engage, particularly around women in tech, is such a privilege, and I never miss if I can to utilize it. Richard gave me guiding points, but I feel like I can speak about this in my sleep because for the last 15 years, it has been a journey of really fighting for women in tech. When I moved back to Rwanda, soon after grad school, I found myself being one woman in many of the conversations we're having on the Rwanda ICT National ICT Plan for 2011 to 2015, which I had the privilege of leading. When I went to EcoBank in payments, it was still very much a man's world. If you look around the biggest companies globally, Rwanda is an exception. It's still led by men, and even if the health sector is dominated by women, it's still dominated by men, especially from a solutions perspective. But I really think that how do we design solutions that are supposed to serve the majority in the system if it is not really done by women? We know ourselves best. We know what we need best. And not that, especially since we are mothers of boys and men, and we are raising sons that will especially be he for she, we do need to really have more of you. And I want to congratulate the team that I see is, in fact, 4 women. Congratulations for making it to the finals and taking your place. And we need to have more. When we started Girls in ICT, when the first International Girls in ICT Day was declared in 2011, Rwanda was among the first to also have a Girls in ICT group. And we immediately took the baton to go to schools, inspire as many girls. We started a competition called Miss Geek Rwanda, specifically to get girls to think about the problems in their communities and innovate for them. And the first competition, we had less than 15 applications. And we struggled to even find welcome ladies, majority ladies. We struggled to even find sponsors, which speaks to entrepreneurship. Starting is always difficult, and the most difficult step to take is just that start. But we did nonetheless, and I'll speak more about it. But why? Why do we need women in health tech? And Richard, you had told me empowering women, but I'm one of those that don't. I believe empowerment is done by the individual. No single one of us can empower another. The power to do is within us. And all we need is equitable opportunities to harness that power and really design solutions. And it is in that power that investors will come. When I think about Africa, there are 1.4 billion people living on this continent. There are even millions more that are living in the 6th African Union region, which is the diaspora. Majority of the continent, at least over 50%, is women. 70% is you, young people. And I imagine even among the young people, it is still a lot of young women. 1.4 billion plus is who you're designing solutions for, right? And if majority are young, majority are women, it means that they will have a phone and therefore digitally connected, or at least we must ensure they do. And that is the opportunity of your innovation. And it is available to every one of you equally. There is no that it's boys, it's men, it's equally. And the choice to innovate is yours. The decision to innovate is yours. As I said, healthcare and home care is dominated by women. Mothers like me, I'm a mother of twins, they're almost 20 months. And we are always looking for solutions. Every day we're thinking, when you hear your child cry all of a sudden, you think, what just happened? And the immediate thing is to run. What happened? Where did they fall? Show me where. First aid. Bring the ice pack. And I think in that pursuit of the best health solution, what is the right food? What is the first aid I should apply? Is an opportunity for learning and an opportunity for innovation. Those Googles that we do, the University of Google, when we go for a Google search, shall we find your solution as the one that will be providing me with ideas of how to deliver first aid for my children? When I think about fear and how it holds us back in just starting, right? As the great Nelson Mandela said, for the only thing to fear is fear itself. But I always think that we should always dare to do, because it really is the only way to live. We have this one life. We will never have another opportunity to live. And how can we live in fear when we can just live? I do understand that business is hard, entrepreneurship is hard, innovation, I think, is easy because problems are all around us. I don't know of any more entrepreneurial, resilient people on this earth like Africans. We've endured so much. We were a continent full of ideas and civilization long before the Berlin Conference divided us. And not only did we have to be divided, then we were colonized. With our resources, leaving the continent to enrich others, to power the very digital solutions we have in our hands. A lot of those are coming from here. Then we had to fight for our independence, right? So the first industrial revolution happened, we were being partitioned. The second industrial revolution happened, we were being colonized. The third industrial revolution happened, we were fighting for our independence. The fourth industrial revolution, which is powered by tech, we are the youngest population. We have the minerals to power technology. We have you all with digital solutions in your hands, going to class and you have access to technology readily available, but still millions more do not. When I started, I used a computer for the first time in secondary school. MS-DOS was the clunky operating systems that we had to use. This was, I think, in 1993. Many of you are not even thought of. But look at where we are today. For Africa, we are privileged to have mobile phones in the hands of at least 70% of the population, and therefore an opportunity to innovate. So there is nothing to fear. Even failure is a lesson. It's a lesson and a step closer to a solution or a decision, right? To improve what you have created, to remove something, or to start again. And therefore, there is nothing to fear. And I'll end on this. When it comes to innovation, especially for solutions in healthcare, especially for us women, who we are the mothers in the household, we are the mothers of the nation, we are the caretakers in the hospitals, we are the caretakers at home in many ways. I would say build and they'll come. Our country is one of the best examples of what that means. In 1994, maybe if I go back to 1990, when our liberators, who majority were young, they were under 30. Among the oldest of them was our president. And by the time the genocide ended, he was only 33 years old. And there was nothing in terms of money in the bank, because the genocidaires had taken every single penny that was in our central bank. So our liberators had everything they had on them, but among them, they had a group led by a woman, mobilizing resources to support the army as they were fighting for liberation, but especially to get started in rebuilding the country. Her name is the late Alois Inyumba. You should Google her, you understand the fierce innovator that she was. When, thank you. Because the things that they did to mobilize food, to mobilize blankets, to mobilize resources to support our liberators while they were in the bush, cooking breakfast for them, etc. And I am a daughter of one of those women who were serving our liberators. When Rwanda was started, there was a lot of opposition from the international advisors that we can't afford it. That how do we start an airline when we still don't have basic services? But the president insisted that the most important resource that we have, and we are right, is our people. And how are people going to come and visit Rwanda to see our people, to see our innovations without an airline to bring them directly to Rwanda? Or if Rwandans need to go somewhere, that they also get on Rwanda and go somewhere. And so that investment was made, and we're here today, soon to have partnerships to grow that network. Every time I fly, because the Pan-African in me won't allow, I take Rwanda. But Rwanda's story is one of build and they'll come. When we started Girls in ICT, we didn't have that much support, but we started. We didn't have many girls to compete, but we started. We had Twitter to socialize our message. We thought, we prepared the room for 50 people. Before even the night started, the room was full, and we had standing room. Even the standing room was done. But later in 2014, Miss Geek Rwanda became Miss Geek Africa, competing during the Transform Africa Summit, and a competition among African girls who also are designing solutions. The journey for a cashless Africa that led me to Better Than Cash started here in Rwanda, trying to figure out how do we design payment solutions that work for everyone. And so when it comes to your solutions to build healthcare solutions, because life is health. Health is life. And what we eat, what we drink, to sleep, everything touches on health. And all that is opportunity for innovation. So if you're fearing to innovate because maybe money is not going to come, I say build and they'll come. Work together with somebody because two heads are better than one. Compete with each other. Fight for yourselves. When Rwanda invested in Rwanda, we didn't have the resources, many resources, but a lot has come from Rwanda in terms of investment in Rwanda. The Visit Rwanda brand is built off of that. Similar to Rwanda was the convention center. They said, don't build it, you don't have money. It was built. Now we are a MICE destination and host. That's what your healthcare solutions can do as well. Build for 13 million Rwandans, but build for 1.4 billion customers. Boldly dream about what solutions can be. Do them. But as you do them, have clarity of who your customer is, what they need, what they are willing to pay, because what's the point of entrepreneurship if you don't make money? How you will convince them to pay, because investors are already here, right? Money really is not the problem. Fear is the biggest issue. Innovate, collaborate, because knowledge shared is actually knowledge gained as well. Investors are here. They, and I'm among them, we are waiting for your solutions to invest. So I really hope that post this, we will be able to see more Rwandan companies be part of this program, and that we will see your solutions work not just in Rwanda, but across this one market of 1.4 billion people, which now makes our possibilities endless. And I'm excited to learn from you. I'm excited to support, and I look forward to a great conversation going forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Lucy. I hope you all had your phones, since we are in the digital world, to actually take notes. But if you didn't, I think you can take away 1.4 billion. That's the market that we have, so that we can serve. As I see a room full of young people, so your solutions are really for the 1.4, not just 14 million of Rwandans. So thank you, Lucy, for inspiring. And as we can say, fear is not an option. I think that's something that you can take away from this beautiful keynote speech. Thank you once again, Lucy, and we're all inspired. And I took some notes if you want. Look for me during the break. As we continue a few minutes before we actually jump into the panel, we'll welcome Sylvain Mugumya. He's the Digital Health Business Analyst at the Ministry of Health, and he's also the co-founder and president of the Rwanda Health Information Alliance. Please help me welcome Sylvain.
Hello, good morning. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. I'm happy to be having this space to talk about what are we doing for women in Rwanda Health Informatics Alliance. Actually, she mentioned Rwanda Health Information. Yeah, information, informatics, they are closer. Thank you very much for that. So we are a professional, an association which is promoting the health informaticians for the country. Actually, we have realized that many things, many aspects, many domains has been growing in the country, but we have realized that there is a confusion between ICT and health tech. So then we decided to take the step and create a professional network which helps the health tech to be again recognized as a domain that needs to be emphasized, because we have many people from computer sciences, computer engineering, information technologies, but at the end we have realized that we need people working in health but who understands tech, but who also understands healthcare. So that's when we have created Rwanda Health Informatics Alliance. This is a professional network, and this Rwanda Health Informatics Alliance, it's having currently a member of more than 70 members. And among, it's unfortunate that we have only 20% who are women. So, but this is an opportunity. It's not a problem to us. It's, of course, that's a starting. It's an hypothesis that we need to prove that we can come from 20% to maybe more than half. Why not? So how did we start and getting one of these 20%? Actually, it started by taking people who have done health informatics in the studies, in the background. But we have realized actually many people are doing health tech and not necessarily have done this in the background in the education. So we are now in the process of now counting and getting all members from all corners, and we are sure that at least if we finish all of this survey, we may get more than 20%. We had 20% in the 70s. This was just with the background from the university, people who have done health informatics. But we know people are practicing, are doing health informatics, are supporting health in terms of tech, but who have not have chance to have that background. So we are increasing this number, and in Rwanda Health Informatics we have also created a chapter. This is called a Women chapter. It's Rwanda Health Informatics Women chapter. So this is going to be helping. We actually started by looking around and see how can we promote the women in health, but teaching them, training them, how can they be interested in digital health. So currently we are having a number of 800, we call them digital health champions. These are people from all over the country. They are sitting, we are not moving anyone, they are sitting in their villages. So we are training them, we are also interesting them to like digital health. Why are we doing this? Actually, the Ministry of Health has been implementing digital solutions, and at the end, we have realized that the ministry alone cannot manage to go down in the village and support. So that's why we created this network. We created a network of people who are in the village, in families, who are women, who have anything related to studies. Actually, we have started with people at least with secondary school studies. We don't care about if you have done mathematics, you have done biology. No, we just train you how to start and being a digital health enthusiast. So that's what. Currently, we have 800. We are creating a platform where we train them. They are graduating. They will be graduating from beginners, intermediate, expert. So we are creating for you a workforce, actually. So you will be getting a workforce, but mostly we always emphasize on women. Why? We are having actually, we have started with supporting community health workers. You know, community health workers, they are living in far away in the villages, and the ministry has provided with them the smartphones. They have smartphones, they have started practicing the digital. But we have realized the ministry trains and then it goes away. There is no way, if there is a button not working, it will not be easy for the ministry to know someone from the village far away, the button of his phone is not working. So, and we have also realized that it will be much costly if they can hire people to go and sit there. So that's why we created this network of digital health champions. We just see in the family. who has something like he's interested to know digital. And then what we do, we train you. You remain there. We don't move you. You support your mother, you support your neighbor, you support your uncle, you support who is a community health worker whom you live with. So now currently we have started mobilizing people to support in the training of these people because they need to be trained so that they can support. We started this as a volunteering. They are all volunteering. We are not giving them anything because Rwanda Health Informatics, it's a newly organization that is not strengthened in terms of finance and all of that, but we have knowledge. We have an expert and we have expertise in health, in digital health, but we do not yet have financial, but we will get there because what we are doing, it's for all of us. So we have started mobilizing, creating platform for the training. Of course, we also need support for gadgets. If you need support your uncle or your mother who is having a gadget, so you need to have a gadget too. So it's not easy, but we know we'll get there. What I wanted to show, give here as a lesson, we realized that these small girls that you are seeing in the family who did not manage to have a chance to go to the university, they can serve. They can do some more work that you should be using the high cost to pay for this, and they can do this voluntarily. And we can support them just for the knowledge, and we are creating also a workforce. I've realized that the Ministry of Health has 4x4. This is multiplying by 4 the health workforce in 4 years. But I've realized that this is only healthcare providers workforce. And they are forgetting that where you have a nurse, where you have a doctor, you should have a digital health expert near him because we are all for digital. So you totally understand we need also to multiply by 4. So that's why we are creating that kind of network. So we don't want to call all of people to come in town, no. Because the digital will not always be in town. We need digital where it's needed, not here it is already okay. You are all smart, you are all having all kind of ways to get to the smart content. But we need our mothers, uncles, grandmothers also to be smart. And we need the data from that side. That's why we are creating this network. Of course, it is something, it's an initiative that we started as Rwanda Health Informatics Alliance, which can also be maybe your interest. It can be also, you can think that you can come and support. So we are also calling everyone to support, but mostly we are doing this for women, girls that did not manage to escape the village, and we don't want. We need them to remain there and make the village smart, not coming in town for being themselves smart. So that's a good story that I'm sharing with you, and also showing that this will create employment if you need. We have been discussing with some organizations, and they were saying, why can't we make this maybe something that can generate some revenues? You totally understand that if you are in a village, today you are supporting your family. If we tell you that maybe, can you support 5 families, 5 community health workers? If you support 10, so maybe we give you $10 per month, and we are creating for you some revenues. You are also supporting us. We are getting data. You totally understand that we can benefit both of us. So that's why we are calling everyone. If you need support, we are there for you, and we need also to strengthen this network so that people don't think smart is in town. Smart should be in village where all comes from. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sylvain. I think today we'll have the numbers right. So 1.5 billion. I think all of you have that. 4x4. I think that's important. 800. Yeah, 800 health workers or digital. So let's get our numbers really correctly. And as we go quickly to our next. I'll say Sarah is really our host, so thank you for hosting us. So Sarah Desrosiers is the Director of Health Equity at the Novartis Foundation, with over 15 years of global health experience, including work with global health organizations like WHO, Gavi, and the Global Fund. Her expertise lies in health systems. I guess we're in good hands. Strengthening strategic partnership and health tech, data, and AI. Welcome, Tara.
Thank you very much. I'm very pleased to see so many of you in the room, and also to see some young people in the room over there. I'm very moved to see that you have the courage to come to such an event. I think it's very important. So, congratulations for being here, and yeah, thanks a lot. I will invite now our panelists to the panel. Thank you. Starting with Lucy, you can sit at the end of the. Starting with Lucy, so Steve, that's going to be my seat here. Rachel from the Gates Foundation, Shori, Shori, you can sit right here, and Nancy's right there. Yes, please. Okay, wonderful. So let's get started. So we're here today to discuss a really important topic that concerns all of us. In this age of digitization and of data and AI revolution, how do we make sure that we create, equal opportunities for women-led entrepreneurs? And for them to really build businesses that are successful and also profitable, and serving the needs, of the populations and of the governments. According to the Big Deal report, female-led startups in Africa raised $188 million in 2022, and that's just 4% of total funding raised, in comparison to their male counterpart, who raised $4.6 billion. So there's a mass inequality right there, and that's basically at the end of the pipeline. So I think today the main goal of this conversation is to understand how can we support women to empower themselves, right? To take the right steps in learning the skills, learning the ways of evolving in this health tech ecosystem, so that they can identify the right solutions, bring together, a team around them, and build solutions that are really valuable for the continent. So with that, I just wanted to say again that I'm really honored to have all of you on this panel, to have these, we have the privilege of having really a wide range of expertise on this panel, and also the different sectors being represented. So the entrepreneurial sector, the investment sector, the development sector, also the UN sector. So thank you so much for being here with us. So with that, we'll just get started directly. So my first question is addressed to Rachel from the Gates Foundation. Rachel, you work at the intersection of technology and development with a focus on AI. And building health tech solutions requires, as we know, a wide range of skills. It requires to understand the business, it requires to understand health system, it requires also to understand the technology and more data and AI. So I wanted to understand, what the Gates Foundation is doing in a way to, empower women and to make sure that they're prepared and enabled to contribute to the health tech sector.
Thank you very much. Greetings from the warm heart of Africa. I'm originally from Malawi, but based out of Nairobi. Spent the last 12 years in South Africa, so I guess I'm just a proper African, if I may say. Wanted to start off picking up on something that Lucy said earlier, which was the fact that women form majority of the caregivers within the health sector. And based on that, I believe it is safe to say women are the backbone of the health ecosystem. And when you take it up further, 70% of the frontline health workers are women. And so I would say we've done well around that space, just in terms of, getting more women into the front lines of healthcare. However, there are, a number of areas where we could do better. Just also wanted to mention that it's very encouraging to hear from Sylvain about what the government of Rwanda through the Ministry of Health is doing in upskilling women in health tech. I guess we have to be more intentional. But if you ask me our impressions on, how that is going, it leaves a lot to be done, I would say, because despite that 70% of women being in the health workforce, when you now start to look at how many women are in leadership roles within the health workforce, that number starts to really go down significantly. I think when I was looking at some research, it was like about only 26% of women are leaders within the health space. When you look at the number of women in science and tech in Africa, it's about 30%. And then, like being a geek myself, you'd be interested in seeing how many are data scientists, how many are AI experts. It's only less than 26%. And so although we've made significant strides, there's still a lot more to be done. And that is why at the foundation, among other investments that we're making currently, is supporting AI masterclasses to train more women policymakers to get up the ladder. Let me just finish off by sharing a personal reflection. When I went to undergrad, which was 24 years ago, I paused because then I just realized how old I am. I was one of 14 girls in the computer science class. It was a class of 32. So the university had done a good job, I think, of balancing. However, only 5 of the 14 finished and graduated with a degree in computer science. Now, of the 5, you and me can imagine how many would have gone to work in health tech, since we're talking about health tech today. When I went for my postgrad, which was basically a master's in the mathematics of information security, there were only 2 women in a class of 14. When I went for my PhD, how long ago was that? 10 years ago again. I was the only woman and the only black person. And so you start to transcend the sexism, the colorism, and there's so many isms, right? As I reflect on that, it gets really personal because I realize that 10 years later, my hope would have been we should have brought more women up the ladder, both as developers, decision makers. We cannot design digital health solutions for women without women. We have to do it with the women, by women, for women. So let me just finish off to say, as the Gates Foundation, we believe that you have to design with the user. And happy to share that some of the products that we are investing in, specifically for women, be it digital devices or indeed the analytics piece, is made very intentionally that we have to integrate women. One of our investments here is with the Ministry of Health, the National Health Intelligence Center. And I see Dr. Yvonne is in the room. He leads that effort. Majority of the young data scientists and AI experts in the National Health Intelligence Center are young women, and proud to say average age of about 22. I think that's the future we want to see, and more of that. But we gotta be intentional. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'd like to stay on this topic of education, educating the young girls so that they develop the right level of skills to enter this sector. So I'll go to you, Lucy. with the work that you're doing at Better Than Cash Alliance and the girls in ICT in Rwanda. Can you tell us about, the approach that you're taking for supporting young women to build those skills and to empower themselves, as you were saying earlier?
Thank you. For me, and Rachel just put it very well, by women, for women, with women. For Better Than Cash Alliance, which is hosted by the UNDP, our approach, especially now that we're talking about 1.4 billion, I had the privilege of being part of writing and negotiating the protocol of digital trade, and also ensuring that the protocol, the Africa Continental Free Trade Area Protocol on Women and Youth in Trade, included digital inclusion. But the protocol on digital trade is really hinged on inclusion. And the negotiators of the AFCFTA are generally trade lawyers, and the origins of the agreement were mainly negotiated with maybe small, medium enterprises in mind that are exporting already, but exporting through, I should say, banks. When you count. When they count Africa's trade, they say it's about 16% and less than even 4% at a global level. But what is not counted there are the millions that are crossing land borders every day, selling goods and services. And that is the opportunity and the vacuum of data that is there. Because what you can't see, you can't count. Majority of the, and Rwanda has the data, the highest business propensity is at land borders, but they're the least financially included. They, the average borrowing rate for traders at the borders is anywhere from 70% if you move across Africa. So I took the AFCFTA Secretariat team together with the African Union Commission team that is in charge of women and youth, and the Outer NEPAD teams to where the women and youth in trade are, to the border, just as much as we do the city, as the gentleman from the ministry said. 80% of our population on the continent is in rural areas. So we went to the borders to see for ourselves what the digital needs are, what the financial needs are, and we're able to design a protocol that responds directly to those needs. And we visited at the Ghana-Togo border, at the Zimbabwe-Zambia border, the Rwanda-DRC borders. We also visited traders from Egypt, and when we were there were some women who came 800 kilometers to listen to us. And the biggest issue was, they need, first of all, they didn't have digital payments because cash is king. When they can do digital payments, it's a remittance. It's very expensive because with remittances, you pay the cost of sending money and you pay the FX conversion. And so we want to turn those into merchant payments because then there's just one cost of FX. We want to make sure that every single one of those women and men, but it's majority women as well, has a digital device, has an account. They can transact with that account. Those data points can become their collateral to access finance and access it at the market rates. Because today they borrow at just criminal rates, if I can say that. One of the lenders told us in one of the sessions that he lends at 30%. the average amount that is borrowed is $8. And if they don't pay back, their roof is their collateral. And they have collected that collateral. So what we are doing is indeed going to the women first, or to the traders first, working with them to deliver solutions immediately as we work on fixing the regulatory issues or policy issues that prevent them from accessing digital services and financial services. And really the goal is simple. We can no longer afford to move from the top-down approach of transformation. I hate to call it development, because we've been talking about development, but somehow it seems we don't develop fast enough. Maybe if we change to transformation, we can measure ourselves truly on how many people have been transformed. So our goal is to flip that economic pyramid and make sure that the last mile is the first mile, and make sure people understand it's a profitable business to include. And that is the opportunity of innovation that is also there. To reach 1.4 billion, and majority are that first mile, we will need solutions that speak to the needs of these traders. And among them, of course, is health, because health is wealth, and it's something we live and breathe every day. As long as you're awake, you're healthy, hopefully. And if you're not, you're looking for solutions to make life easier. And so this is what we're doing, which is different from what is typical, because typically you do the policy, then you figure out, sit in hotel rooms and write the harmonized regulations. But we're ensuring that as we take our time to do regulatory harmonization, those without digital or financial solutions have them immediately, and we work backwards to doing the policy work. Thanks.
Thank you so much. This importance of financial and digital inclusion, especially for women who are most vulnerable, right? Moving over to Nancy. Nancy, you're the people and culture head at your company TPN. TPN is based in Kenya and connects pathologists and hospitals. So you're really in the diagnostic space. I'm very curious to hear about your entrepreneurial journey as a woman, and also some of the challenges you're currently facing in putting women at the forefront of what you're doing. Can you share more about that with us?
Yeah, sure. And thank you for having us here. So I work for the Pathology Network. It's a health tech company, and what we do is we work with labs, hospitals, pathologists, clinicians, and many of us would know that these bits of pieces do not speak to each other. You go to a hospital, you're told a biopsy needs to be taken. You have to look for a lab. The lab doesn't maybe get back to you. You don't know if you can find a pathologist. So in between that, there's delayed diagnosis, misdiagnosis, and misdiagnosis somewhere along the line. And so some of the challenges that have been there is, and this is not just a Kenyan problem, not just a TPN problem, is that we have a shortage of pathologists. So in Kenya, the number of practicing pathologists would be about 160, 150. In some countries, they don't have pathologists. The other day we were talking to a team in Eswatini, they only have 2 pathologists. So you can see the shortage. And so then how do we bring these people who are spread across the globe and ensure that they're able to speak to each other? Could we have a pathologist in Australia, for example, reporting a case for someone in Nairobi? Yes, it's possible, and we're doing that. How we're doing that is through something we're calling digital pathology. So there is something, it's a wide-scale scanner, and so what it does, it's just like a typical scanner. And so what would normally happen is you have a slide. You remember those slides from biology class? Yeah, those two tiny ones that you smudge something in the middle, and then it goes through a microscope and it's read. So what it does is it goes through the scanner, and a digital image can then be digitally put to the pathologist in Australia. And so we're just trying to bridge that gap in terms of pathologists. From an employer perspective, one of the challenges, and I was telling the team, I'm facing is getting developers, women. Do we have any developers in here, engineers?
Raise your hands so we can see you. Yes. Companies, startups that are looking to build their teams. Wonderful. I'll move on to Shori. Shori, you are a seasoned investor and also a healthcare entrepreneur in a past life, right? So you lead the Avicenna Investors Group investment firm. So I really would love to hear from your perspective. You know, what are you looking for as an investor in businesses, and especially businesses led by women, and what are some of your advice you can give to them?
Thank you for having me, and thank you for the opportunity to be with competent panel. Before I give you some advice, I don't know if I can give these small people any advice, but I can share of my experience. I'm actually, in my soul and in my body, entrepreneur. And when we're talking about to be investor, I always used to say that it's not so easy to sell it to me, because I built the company. I'm coming from the healthcare sector. I was in my past life nurse, and midwife who decided to building the company with the impact for the other people and even for myself. So what I can say to the young entrepreneur is it's not just about when you're pitching for the investor. It's about you have always have to think why I'm doing this. Why. This is very important. And be very clear with your idea, with your concept, with your product. Who use this product? Who paid for that? And this is the important things, because if you don't know why you're doing this, and you don't know the relevance of your product, of your idea, or your concept, then I think it's not the vision, it's the hallucination. And this is something I often meet with the young entrepreneur. They come in, they have some technology, they have some idea, and then I'm asking them, where is the real market? The product is so good, yeah, but what should I do with this? Who buying this? Who using this? What's the benefit of that? So the relevance of the product, idea, or concept, or whatever it is, it doesn't matter. It's the healthcare, it's the digital services, whatever it is, you have to be very clear with yourself at the relevance of your product. And the other things is, actually, I didn't did any study, I don't have any numbers, I'm just talking from my experience. What do you want to reach with your company, with your idea? You want to make money? That's good. We have to make money to develop our idea, to help the other people. But if it is the only goal you have, and that's why you want to start your company, to make just money and no long-term impact for the other people, you are not going to have some success. Maybe for the short time, maybe you're building the company, you're selling them very expensive and make a lot of money. That's nice for you, but it hasn't any impact for the other people, and we living in interaction with each other. But I'm sitting here in the Norrsken, in Swedish we say Norrsken, and I'm thinking about a person I know very well, and really entrepreneur with a big social impact, Niklas Aderborn. And he's the founder of the Klara and now Norrsken. In the many countries who help the other young entrepreneur to find a way. And I know him very well from the long time ago, and his fight to get success with his product. But his product at that time was so relevant. And this is like when I started my company, I'm coming as a refugee woman in the healthcare sector. I always used to say that if you want success, you shouldn't be the woman refugee and I was all three. And I identified the problem. This is very important. You have to know the problem and the root of the problem. This is very important as well. Not, okay, this is problem, and then I want to find a solution. But you have to understand what's the root of the problem. And the problem in Sweden was the attitude to everybody has the same services, and all the resources, everything was allocated around the system, not individual, and especially in the woman health. And for me, the gap there, the root was freedom to choices. We want to choose our doctors. We want to choose where we want to work in. Choices. As a human being, we always do a choice. As an entrepreneur, you do the choices. And at that time, it was just 1% of the all healthcare market private. 1%, 99% public. And then is coming the young refugee woman and says, okay, let's change it. This is not good. It sounds very easy, but it wasn't easy to challenge a system and make the policymaker, politician, healthcare personnel, majority women, to understand that we need a healthcare reform allocated around the individual, and tell them the relevance of this idea. So what I'm looking when I meet with the other entrepreneurs, I see myself in them. I was ready to work hard for that. Are you ready to work 24 hours? Are you ready to work 7 days a week? Are you ready to put everything you have in the company, but you know exactly what you do? It doesn't matter what other people say. But I'm not saying you just do it, because you have to know what you do. So we're talking about the competence. When the gentleman was here before and he said, we understand to bring the digital health, we need the people who knows the healthcare. I knew it. It was my competence. I knew it as an employee. I knew it as an entrepreneur. So when I took a lead to building the company, and not just have one clinic, one employee, I saw the opportunity at that time at Sweden, in that market with the majority of women and majority of competence from other countries. It was there. We had the competence. We just need to see them. And gathering all this competence together to create something new, useful, not just for the company, even for Swedish society. They need it, they need us. But not go around and talk about that. I said, okay, I'm doing it. It cannot be worse. I always can go back to the hospital and work as a nurse. They need me, but I have to do that because I know, I have knowledge, I'm ready to work hard. And that's what I'm looking for when I see and talk to the people who are teaching or they want my advice. And Abyssina from one clinic became the big healthcare company with 1,400 employees. And but I think it wasn't the building the big company, it was what the Abyssina bring to the healthcare sector and the Swedish society. Freedom, choices, digitalization, diversity, equality. At 2004, my leading group was 70% women. And it was natural because healthcare, the majority is a woman. Diversity, 65% people who came from the another country, the another Swedish, not Swedish background, but he was there, it doesn't matter. There was a doctor, there was a nurses, they were good. They was good. And I think it was something common between me as a founder, owner, and a leader with my employees, with the people who work with me. We all need to success.
Thank you so much. I think it's very inspiring, and I think what I'm hearing there is really, for all of the entrepreneurs out there, make sure your solution is relevant, to the market. Make sure that you're really identifying a need in the health system that is a recognized need, and that your solution is really targeting that. So thank you.
Thank you. I just ended up to say it: clarity, relevance, and hard work.
Hard work, yes.
And humble, to be humble.
Yes.
And learn.
Thank you so much. Thank you. We've heard from all of the women on our panel, and now we've got one man standing. So Steve,
very happy to be here. Actually.
Yes, thank you so much for accepting the invitation. I think it's really important to also have a men perspective on this topic. You are a seasoned expert in the world of VCs and investments on the African continent, but also globally. You've seen a lot of businesses pitching to you, and you've talked about this concept, this notion of women entrepreneurs being over-mentored and underfunded. Can you speak to that a little bit, and what's been your experience dealing and supporting also women-led businesses?
Sure. So thank you very much for having me here. Maybe very quickly to introduce Jazarif quickly. So Jazarif is a digital health, medtech, biotech, and assistive technologies. I see some of them, glasses and things. Venture capital fund. We invest at pre-seed, seed, and Series A. And I'm really glad to see that she has a number of hospitals. So in our new fund that we are raising, we're looking at physical infrastructure, which is hospitals and clinics that are specialized. So on that, so actually there's a backstory to that. I've always been in investment space consulting, and at some point I realized that I was coaching a number of entrepreneurs, a number of them women, especially from Ghana, where I hail from. And I realized that I would see two similar companies pitching to me. One is led by a man and the other one is led by a woman. And guess what? Probably 90% of the time, the woman would ask for less money, would be maybe less, I would say, more reserved, probably because of the Ghanaian culture to some extent. But what I realize is that they have really innovative solutions and they tend to work with much less and do more. Okay. That's number one. Number two, what I also realize is that a number of them were going from program to program to program, which I used to call grantpreneurs, not entrepreneurs, but grantpreneurs, without the funding that really helps them.
That's right.
And so, very recently, as recent as last October, I was working with the Gracia Machel Trust in South Africa. They have more than 5,000 women in their networks. And I made a commitment to coach and support some of them because that has been the case. Underfunded, over-mentored, over-coached. Oh, go here, do that. No, give them money. Right? And an example is there. TPN is one of my investments. I have to declare it. There's no conflict of interest here. Right? And so what I would say is that in our existing portfolio, though, out of 9 companies, we have 3 that are led by women. I'll say 3.5 because the other one is diverse, but I know I can do more. And one of the things that a lot of people say, which really annoys me, is, oh, there's not enough pipeline. Our investor work, there's not enough pipeline, we don't see enough coming, etc. But what I've learned over time is that you create the pipeline. Go to the places where those women interact, and this is where you find those entrepreneurs that you can invest in. So I've had the chance, that's why I tag myself sometimes hashtag he for she. I've had the chance to work for the UN Women, where I designed a 13-country private sector engagement strategy for them, where the idea was to say, look, how can we get the large corporates on the continent to work with women-owned or led enterprises in their supply chains? So the Coca-Colas, the MTNs, etc., to figure out a way to essentially have more women entrepreneurs in their supply chain, procurement, etc. So, I mean, this strategy was great. We started to implement it. But unfortunately, we face a lot of resistance because a lot of the leadership are who? Men. All right. And so the other consequence of that was a recommendation to also, within those organizations, help them have more women on leadership positions so that they're also decision makers who better understand the challenges and opportunities of investing in women. And I'll give some statistics in investment space. I happen to be also an investment manager trainer, so I train other investment managers on impact investing and especially integrating gender in the investment process. What we realize is that when you have women investment managers, investment officers, partners, or investors in the fund, that changes the dynamic because those women who are on the investment side can relate and find opportunities that men, honestly, I'm an expert in pads, to be honest with you now, but that's not a natural conversation you're going to have with a woman as a man, right? So there's relatedness. So in summary, and I can talk about this for a long time, I think there's a great opportunity, especially women in health tech specifically, to essentially design programs or initiatives that help more people invest in women in health tech. And one of them is one of the ideas I had, and I really want to say, so if you know any senior woman that you looked up on LinkedIn, wherever, and you want as a mentor, reach out to them. Right? And we're proposing to create a network of women entrepreneurs or women leaders that are willing and dedicated, to give a bit of time to mentor other women, right? It's possible. And this is an option. The other one is, and a bit of publicity for us, I would say, we realize that it's also a huge investment opportunity for us. So we spend time and resources to create research around femtech in Africa. So you can go on jazarif.com/research. You see a 3-part series on femtech in Africa. Because again, we believe there's a massive opportunity on the continent to create solutions in healthcare for women. They're, again, overcoached, underinvested. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So yes, this notion of really continuing. Also, women need to be supported, right? So creating that support network both on the sort of expert side, but also on the investor side. I think that really needs to continue being promoted, and a lot of partners need to come around the table to make that happen.
If you allow me to add something,
Yes, please.
we're raising our next fund. If you want to invest in our fund, come to us. And if you want to apply to our fund, jazarif.com/apply.
So as we're closing this panel, I would just like to ask one last question to each of our panelists, and you can give us a brief answer. But essentially, from where you stand, different sectors, different organizations, what would you say is the one thing you see that is needed for women to really take up space in the health tech sector? So I will start. We'll start with Sue Steve.
My answer is going to be very simple: more money.
Rachel.
Thank you. Good technician. I think from our end, we're looking to get more women designing digital devices within the medical space. And we've made commitment to investing in like AI-enabled ultrasound devices, particularly to identify risky pregnancies. I'm a mother of 3, and I'm privileged that I gave birth and I'm alive today, because every 2 minutes a woman dies from pregnancy complications giving birth. And it's part of the reason we've invested in these AI-enabled ultrasound devices, because then frontline workers can pick up those risky pregnancies early on. So if there's a space our young women tech entrepreneurs can get to as well, is in designing and developing digital devices that can be used to save lives. If there are any of such products and designs, would be good to talk. Thank you.
Thank you, Rachel. Thank you.
Okay. I agree with you. Capital, I think it's very important, and support. Women need to support each other. Do it, open the door for each other, and be good role model and mentor for each other.
Thank you, Shari. Thank you very much.
From my end, as an employer and also being in health tech, the health tech industry, is let's give an equal opportunity to the women on the table. And also from a policy and decision-making perspective, are we using data-driven, analytics to make decisions? What data do we have? What are we using it for? Thank you.
I'll say made in Africa, right? Because by us, for us, with us, and we need to really live it and be it, right? I wear made in Africa every day, unless I can't find that thing in quality for made in Africa. Similarly, we are all here consuming tech built by others. I would love to have a made in Africa phone with made in Africa applications, and go to clinics, and in fact not even need to go to the clinic, because there is a solution developed by an African that is in all our devices, and really that starts especially with you developers, especially with you young Africans, because the 4th industrial revolution is ours to lead and take, because we have the youngest population. We are pioneers in mobile services, and it is time to collect that investment, to build the data. We have it already, but we are not the ones using it to make money. So we need to, and we have the inspiration here to turn our data into assets that will especially benefit us. So made in Africa, live it, be it, make money from it.
Rachel, you wanted to add something?
Yeah, I just wanted to add, are there any data AI enthusiasts in the room? Please, by show of hands. Don't know this. Okay. As they say, AI is the new electricity of this age. And so that is also another space where you can leverage. And just FYI, as the Gates Foundation, we've invested in the collation of an open source data set of over 20 African languages. Because currently only 2% of digital data that is being used to train AI models is in African languages. And that needs to be corrected. It's a form of exclusion. And so would like to bridge that by building this open source data set. And if you're there, you're an AI enthusiast, you're looking to build AI solutions in digital health, then you can leverage this open source data set so that the solutions can be used by all manner of people. Hopefully using voice or text, but in their local languages. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thanks to our incredible and inspiring panelists. Thank you so much for all of your interventions. I think we've learned a lot today. I wanted to open the floor to a few questions in the room. So please raise your hand. Yes?
Good morning everyone. My name is Crystal Giraneza Owaneje. I'm a medical doctor and a health entrepreneur, and I'm currently in the East African by Design Fellowship Program at the University of Global Health Equity. So thank you for thinking about women in health tech. And I have a question for, if possible, for all our panelists. So you mentioned that women in health tech are overly mentored and underfunded. And in the past 5 years that I've been in the healthcare entrepreneurship space, we have always had mentors who have rooted guidance from different economies that are different from the current situations we have in Africa or our current healthcare system or even our own economies. You meet investors and they're like, we want return on investment, but we have community-based health insurance in Rwanda, so it's different. Making money, having business models like the ones rooted in different economies is different. So how can we shift the balance to have guidance that is rooted and culturally rooted in our own settings? And how can we get a lot of young people who are also in the healthcare space, who have honors and education in the healthcare space, into joining health tech entrepreneurship without being discouraged that it's really hard to actually get a health tech innovation at the African market? Thank you.
Thank you. Just one comment. Maybe one person can.
Yes, one person
can take. Need to be mindful about time. Thank you.
I'm happy to take it. I think you asked two questions. One is mentorship, and the other one more people in the healthcare. Actually, no, East Africa by Design. Nathaniel was somewhere here anyway. I think with the network you have already, first having mentors is an access, it's a privilege. I understand. Now you're getting to the next level where you want to have people that have local relevance to what you want to build, right? And that's also one of the challenges. Unfortunately, we don't have enough people on the continent, or maybe we haven't reached out to them, that have the competence that you're looking for. But don't forget, there's another African diaspora globally that may have those skills and the local knowledge you may not reaching out to. So I think sometimes the onus is on us to look for the people that we want to reach out to who may have the relevance and just reach out to them. I'm not saying it's easy, but I think where you're sitting and maybe through the networks you have, there's probably something to do there where you're much more proactive on who you're looking for to support you rather than, on top of, let's say, of having this international perspective. On the second point, which is bringing more people to healthcare, innovations, and so on, I think it has to be a systematic approach that may not be at your level, but why don't you create a community? Right? We're in Kigali, the number of, I say, look, let me create an event, hackathon, whatever, where you try and bring those people. So I think sometimes we wait, or quote unquote, for people to do stuff for us. Well, we should just start. Yeah. Just start. I'll stop there.
We'll take another question.
Take maybe 2 questions and then, yeah, quick.
Thank you for this opportunity. My names are Irakose Bera Gladys. I work here at Norskin. My company is Health AD. It's under Health Tech Hub. But I'm also a co-founder in a startup company called NCI Tech. So I had 2 questions, but another one is more of an idea and looking for advice. So the first is, how can investors find the right support when those meant to empower us sometimes take our ideas or favor others already ahead? Yeah, we celebrate the progress and all, but what about those still struggling to break through? Where should they turn to? And another one, the startup that I mentioned, we are working on a project. So, shockingly, suicide is the 4th leading cause of death of 15 to 29 years old globally. But for women, every day 200 girls and young women die by suicide globally, and it's the 2nd leading for those group of young girls and women. So we were thinking on a solution called Safe Talk AI that gives teens from 13 or even below to 24 confidentially sexual or reproductive health support via WhatsApp and connects them with psychologists. So we were thinking of creating hubs for Rwanda's trauma-affected adults, even more than 30 years, to heal through shared storytelling and professional help. So my question is, what's the most effective way to scale this model to reach millions of silent sufferers worldwide? And here my question, I would address it to Mr. Seu and Mrs. Shori, and also Mrs. Shuti. Thank you.
Maybe Shori, would you like to take the first question around the supporting the companies that are are struggling, that may not have reached the top, but that are still requiring some support to sort of improve on their business solutions. Correct? That was the first question, right? Yeah.
Okay then. But it's exactly, I don't understand really what the problem is. Can you make it short and more clear?
My question was, mostly people have ideas, but
mostly many people have ideas, but when they present them to people who can support them in any way, they steal them. Maybe I can address it like that. They steal them, or they give them to other people who already are ahead of them instead of supporting them.
Yeah. The question is who you are going to, because in my board, as an investor, and my experience, most of them is very serious people. So if you're going to some person or some organization or some, I don't know, company, they steal your idea, so you are in the wrong place. So this is very difficult to give you advice. So my advice is do your homework. You have to know where you are going when you're speaking well. So that's your responsibility first of all. The other is you never know. You take a risk. Always you take a risk. You own the idea, but you need the capital, you need the resources. And some people, unfortunately, have that, but no great idea. And this is a very big opportunity for them. So actually, I want to just tell you, before you going somewhere and pitch, for the first time, you don't need to pitch your own idea and solution for with the first meeting. Give them just the idea, I want to do that. And let's see what's happening. Who's coming for the meeting? Which question they have? Because from the question, from the investor, you understand directly if they want to do something with your idea and support you for that, or is something else. So give all the, never your own pitch with all details with the first meeting, especially to people you never know. And get help from the other people who are experienced, they have a network, they have a contact to introduce you for the good people who want help the young entrepreneur or your ideas. So the only things I have, but you are never safe. That's the real reward. So you take a risk when you're going somewhere, but actually my experience is they maybe do something with your idea, but the success is always belong the person who owns the idea, who knows the solution. So don't get upset. Go develop your idea and do it in a different way.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Great answer. Maybe the last question. Should we take another? Sorry, I think we will take another question just to give equal opportunities to everyone.
And then we'll have maybe one comment from a gentleman as well. For diversity.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Candy. I'm a third-year student at African Leadership University. I'm doing entrepreneurial leadership / business. My question is, as a business student and a person who's inspired to be an entrepreneur in the future, how can I take my ideas or my initiative or my innovation, let them to tech, and then get the tech, the tech, but especially in the health tech world, but then get people to support me and understand my vision or where I'm coming from without them pin me down like you don't know anything about tech, you're just a person with ideas. Thank you. Anyone can take it on the panel.
Maybe we should take the comment and then we wrap up.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Isidore, and I'm a venture builder. I have been working with entrepreneurs for the past 5 years. So I was so happy when she mentioned, I think it's Christelle, about the people that, the kind of coaching and mentorship that people are getting here. I think she's really on point. The idea that you get told what to do by people that don't have the context is really a big problem, and actually take the initiative to create, to train people, more people that may be able to localize their support to the entrepreneurs. So I think her comment really actually deserves a lot of weight, and for the people that are funding these initiatives, it's another side that needs to be looked at. Because it's very important. So, and then the other one that I wanted to challenge maybe the Gates Foundation and you as an investor is, I think funding, there's a lot of money actually in the ecosystem, to be honest. But I think what it's ending up being is more to the entrepreneurs. It's more like what foreign aid is to African governments. Like, it's a lot that it's easy for entrepreneurs to actually pitch, master the art of pitching, as opposed to taking time to build products. So I think that even as you build your funding frameworks, you really need to look at how do we, if I see you pitching again and I gave you funding and you do not have a client, it needs to be somewhere where you get called up, because people will continue to go and get money and get money. So I think that there's a way that funding people are funding the Gates Foundation or anyone. We need to look at that, because we have the voice to actually influence the idea of getting the right products. Otherwise, the people that are there, they will take advantage of it. And the last point is, I think can we get the men? Can we call men into this? It's good to say women-led, but also we can take advantage of products that are for women, but are led by men, because if men actually take initiative, then it's a holistic growth. So I think we need to encourage that aspect as well, and really incentivize the men who are courageous enough to go into this framework.
So I have two answers for you. Thank you very much for this question. I'm a he for she, and there's a community of men that actually do that, number one. On the investors looking at companies, I run a podcast as a side gig. I talk about grantpreneurs. That's what I mentioned. People go after grant, who raise money, but nothing ever happens. And regarding that, don't be fooled. We have so many WhatsApp group of investors. We know who is doing that. We talk, just like yourself. You talk between yourself. We know that some companies we know we are not going to fund, because they're mostly driven by grants after grants, etc. And then we don't know what they truly do on the ground, right? So on those last 2 points, don't be fooled. On the fact that you're a venture builder, this is great. That's one of the initiatives that we have, where we've scanned more than 4,500 healthcare innovations over the last 3 years. What we realize is that there's certain therapeutic areas or patient journeys that are not covered by anybody. Out of that, those 4,500, what you realize is that 60 to 70% are digital or related solutions. How about medical devices? How about biotech? How about assistive devices that could have, this is hardware that could have technology on top of it? Because honestly, when I look at it, I have half of the companies in digital that are EMR and EHR. You don't need that. It's been invented. There are free versions, DHIS2, etc. So all this brain power is doing copycat of solutions that are already open source and free, right? So it's also the challenge of educating entrepreneurs and building real companies through venture studios and venture builders that truly, as Shori said, solve problems that entrepreneurs own personally. I'll stop there, come and see me after.
If I may add, I think it's important to know that success, problem solving is 100% your responsibility. No one owes you anything. And to get anything, you have to do the work yourself. I didn't have mentors. But I started a mentorship. That's what Girls in ICT was. So do it first. Do it yourself. Lead the change you want to see. For those who steal ideas, they say often imitated, never duplicated. To Shuri's point, build your solution. Get people to make it work. Source from within the family and friends, crowdsource. The responsibility is 100% yours until your solution is live. Do the work. And people will come, as I said, build and they'll come. For you who has ideas and need tech people, for those of us, and I was a software engineer soon after school, come with the idea. Many people are willing. I think Noshken is a house to, I didn't get it right as Shuri said, but it's a house to find solutions, but also be about what you want to see. Those who are here for business will do it. But mentors are out there, and we come in different shapes and forms. It could be a podcast, it could be a book, it could be a LinkedIn chat, it could be an introduction, it could be coffee. Do the work. I am a result of coming to Rwanda, no mentors, seeing something new in terms of digital payments, seeing it as a problem, pursuing to solve it, working with companies to do it, and now being a global director of an institution to do exactly what I started here. So do the work, and people will come, and ideas will come, and investors will come. Your success is your responsibility, and when you take full charge of the power within you, you will achieve even the impossible. Thank you.
One last comment from Sue.
Yes. I want to say, we've had a project for a long time, and you just triggered my memory on it. If anybody is interested, who knows anybody who also is interested, we've been considering setting up a Pan-African, actually, let me call it global. So anybody who wants to invest in health tech in Africa can reach out to us as individuals, so that basically it becomes a African and global network of angel investors, starting from $1,000. So if you want, or if you know anybody who say, oh, I'm interested in what you're doing, but I'm not sure, I don't know, they can reach out to us. We will do the diligence, reviewing the company, etc. And through our channel, they can put money into your company. Because sometimes it's that risk that they're seeing. If there's somebody like us who is reviewing that and giving some sort of, not assurance, but at least clarification, that may help and unlock some capital.
With that, I wanted to thank all the panelists. Thank you so much for all your contributions. It's been a really rich conversation. Thank you. Thank you. Let's applaud the panelists. And to the audience for your interest and time and for being here. So we'll take a short little picture. And then after this, we'll move on to the showcasing of two of our Health Tech Hub Africa entrepreneurs. So just please be patient with us just a few minutes. Thank you.
The camera is somewhere. It's coming. It's coming. Where's the camera? It's coming.
Take a few and then I'll come in.
So let's have peace. Peace, 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 peace. Need a bit of peace in the world. So there you go, peace. Nancy? And Nancy will be next, right? Yeah. So get ready. This will be a quick one. Yeah, okay. Okay. Good morning, everyone. As we're waiting for the slides, I think we can start. Okay, so my name is Peace. As Vanessa mentioned, I joined the Hub in 2021 at the opening here at the Health Tech Hub, and I co-founded a company called Lifestyle Health, and we work with lifestyle diseases mostly from the prevention angle, awareness and access to early diagnosis. So I'll say a little bit about what we do and then pass on to Nancy. So the why we do this, I've practiced as a nutritionist and I've mostly worked with people who have chronic diseases. So cancers, diabetes, hypertension, among others. And our system is mostly focused on communicable diseases, which leaves out a very big part of the problem we have, especially in the African market as a developing market. So that's the reason why we do what we do. And our solution is simple. It has two different approaches, the community approach and the digital approach. So for the community, we train what we call lifestyle ambassadors. And what they do is we give them information on the different risk factors associated to these lifestyle diseases. And then they act as the point of contact in their own communities with the information and access to diagnosis. And the second part is the tech solution that goes with it. So first, we develop incentive-based programs under nutritional, physical, and mental health. And people engage with this as an easy way to understand the complicated medical information about lifestyle diseases. So now they engage with simpler forms and pointers when it comes to lifestyle diseases. And then we've recently integrated transdermal imaging technology, which is a technology that allows you to screen for blood pressure in 30 seconds or less. And all these activities are tied into the community, which comes in as an accountability factor. So you get to create or join an existing community. And what the community does is that it keeps track, and you're able to keep track on each other and be able to be motivated in the activities you're doing. The application comes with a gamification factor, and because as we all know, staying healthy is not fun or interesting enough for most of us anyway. So we want to keep things interesting, and that was the whole purpose of bringing in the gamification factor. So all the activities I've mentioned are tied to points, and these points are redeemable for actual services. So our users get to experience free passes or discounts on different services that are offered by the partners we have. So a free gym membership or discounts on consultation for nutrition and mental health. So that's how the marketplace comes in. You can browse in to see the different services that are being offered and the different offers we have. Lastly, which is our new business model, B2B, we've designed corporate wellness products, and this is simply for companies to give access to their employees on what they can do in terms of health and wellness. So we connect them to the service providers, and then as an employer, you're also able to track how the services you're offering are being used and get the overall population data on how your employees are doing. So that's what we do in short, and I'll be here for the networking after. Thank you.
Thank you, Peace. Thank you very much. Who had mental health? Was you? Meet Peace. See, after when you get some coffee, which I'm so excited about. I can see the energy is going down, but we're almost there. So we welcome Nancy. I think you just met Nancy through the panel. So she'll tell us more about
the pathology network.
Yeah. Thank you, Nancy.
Thank you.
There you go.
So as I go on to tell you about TPN and as I set up, let me tell you a story, a very short one, of a woman who goes to see a doctor and a pathologist because she needs to have a check done. And when they're conversing with a pathologist, it is realized that this lady has a swelling on her breast. It's ulcerated. She's at stage 4 cancer. And the question is, what happened? Why did you take so long before you sought medical help? And long story is, this lady had gone to hospital a while back. A biopsy was taken, but there was no follow through to the lab, to the clinician, pathologist. Like there's really no communication. And so the question is, who failed this lady? Is it maybe she was ignorant, she didn't know? She probably thought that when the biopsy was taken, whatever she was ailing from was healed. Can't blame her. But also, is it the system? How come no one nudged her when the biopsy results were out? And it took, so long until she was at stage 4 cancer. So this, among other stories, is what led to the Pathology Network. We are, as I said, a health tech company. If you look at that heat map, just look at Africa. The red and the pink pitch. If you're a pathologist in here, or going towards that side, if your parent says that you're 1 in a million, literally for Africa, that's it. The ratio of pathologists to population is 1 to a million. So you can imagine, look at the West, there's some green, on the lower bit, there's that coloration, but you can see that it's not a Kenyan problem, like I said before, it's not an African problem, it's a global problem in terms of shortage of pathologists in developing nations. And so, we've talked about long wait times, and you go to a hospital and, like for this lady, no one communicated. Maybe the biopsy, maybe the results were not out, or maybe there was a misdiagnosis, who knows, missed diagnosis. And with all this happening, and with this problem, what is the Pathology Network doing? And these are the consequences. I talked about delayed diagnosis, misdiagnosis, and if you're misdiagnosed, it means that then you have to go back for a repeat of the procedure. Misdiagnosis, actually, in the continent, about $1 billion goes abroad for medical treatment. Either we don't trust the system, or you have gone through the mud and you just don't want to go through it again. So what do? Mostly we go to India, we go abroad. What if all this money was contained within the continent? Because we have African solutions for African problems, right? We've talked about data. The people that are in decision making, do they have the policy makers? Are they making decisions based on the correct data interpreted correctly? And so if not, then are we harming the population and the patients? Yeah? This is our solution. It's called SPES 360. SPES means hope in Latin, so hope all around. And so it is a cloud-based solution, and all these players within the ecosystem, we are able to see all the moving parts. So in a nutshell, for example, a hospital has a test, they're going to order on SPES, we are going to see it, and then it's going to go to a lab. We are all able to see the turnaround time, and everyone within the ecosystem has signed up to the patient is at the fore. Patient care is at the core of everything that it is that we do. So turnaround time is really important for us. So if, for example, it's a cytology, it goes to the lab. How long does it take at the lab? And then after it comes back and it's been shipped to the pathologist, either as a digital or a physical slide, how long is it taking with the pathologist? So what we've been able to do with SPES 360 and all these players within the ecosystem who are our partners is that the turnaround time, like for this lady, it was over 2 years. Close to 2 years from the time she went to hospital to the time she found out that she had stage 4 cancer. that duration, no one spoke to her. With our system, the turnaround time has been reduced to 7 days. If a doctor or a hospital ordering needs an express test, you can get it out in 2 days. So let me take you through, and this is the last slide, digital pathology. I'd spoken about digital pathology. So what happens is when someone goes to the hospital and maybe you have a swelling, a biopsy, a surgery is done, a biopsy is taken, it's put in a whatever container. That liquid is called formalin, and it could also actually be even in liquid form. It doesn't have to be a piece of tissue. And then it goes to the lab. After that, a pathologist will either physically look through the microscope to read the diagnosis. So now I was talking about the whole slide imaging, where it goes through, the slide goes through, and an image is then put digitally into the pathologist's e-folder, and they're able to diagnose from anywhere across the world. That is our solution. We know the problems we have in Africa. We have created a solution for Africans. Thank you.
Thank you, Nancy. I really liked how everything is correlated. Made in Africa, solution in Africa. So before we close, let's have Emmanuel to give us a few closing remarks, because we should leave with something today. It was such a packed, beautiful, insightful, but also inspiring. So we should leave with something. I hope you all took notes on paper or digitally, but Emmanuel will give us a few pointers. And I was telling him that give him 3 minutes before we can have our refreshment outside. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Hi everyone.
Hi.
Let's appreciate all our panelists in Wow, I've had some serious tweets today, or tweet moments, right from Lucy. Lucy, what a keynote. I don't know whether you guys caught what she said. Empowerment is done by an individual. The power to do is within us, and all we need is equitable solutions. Then she went on to say, work with each other, compete with each other. She also said, life is health, health is life. Everything we do, touches on health, and that provides an opportunity to innovate. We are talking about women in health tech, so you can see the many opportunities from all the numbers that have actually been spoken about today. We went on to other speakers, and Rachel said, design and build for women. I don't know whether you remember this, by women with women, right? So ideally really integrate women in all areas. The gentleman also mentioned 80% of the, actually this is Lucy again. She did mention that 80% of our population in the continent is in rural areas. Again, I'm mentioning this because it provides a really good opportunity for you innovators, and I believe most of us here are innovators, to then innovate for people in the rural areas. We moved on to Nancy. Nancy mentioned make some noise, right? Make some noise. Make it easy for people to find you. And men are doing this very well. So it's time for you to also do this. Be very confident to shout, blow your own trumpet. Nobody will do it for you. We moved on to, a lot others that was said. Be clear on what you're solving, why you're solving it, and be clear on the product and why it's relevant. I hope you remember that. Then clarity, relevance, and hard work. And remember, she added humility as well. I could go on and on. A lot of really great points that were actually shared today during the session, and I want to encourage all of us to, I hope you did take something home from that conversation. And as Hub Director of the Health Tech Hub Africa, I also want to commit, because this was not about just having a conversation, nice conversation, we feel nice, those motivation conversations, then afterwards we forget. As the Health Tech Hub, this is a first of many. We are really intentionally putting measures to support women led organizations in the continent. This year's cohort, I know we do have Denosoft that have joined us, but we have 9 out of 21 being women. Of course, our growth from what we had last year, and going forward, we're actually going to prioritize women-led enterprises. It will also interest you to know that from an entrepreneur support organization standpoint, we actually have it easier with women-led enterprises. Ladies give us such an easy time in supporting them, and men give us a hard time. And so I think for me, it's a call for some bias in next year's election, so that we have a lot more women joining us. Hopefully we can have 12 women and 9 men, right? A reverse of what's been happening this year. So thank you so much. Just a final note, we do have snacks outside, so please don't be in a hurry to leave. And again, thank you so much. We're truly honored that you honored our invitation. Yes. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thank you, Emmanuel. I have one last request for everyone. So I would like some of you to come down. We'll have a photo for all of us, right? Let's make it memorable. I don't know if you had before a woman in health tech. It's the first time, right? So also we need to make sure that this is going to be memorable. So let's quickly, let's use our time very well. We delayed a few minutes. So if you could come down, I think we have enough space. I'll ask the photographer to take one good picture with everyone included. Thank you very much. And obviously, the snacks are really ready there. So please come. Let's be quick. Quick. Let's move. So some of the women can. I want the founders. I want Aline, join the Nancy. Sit. All women, come. The youngest of our audience, please. Yeah, come. Please come. Be mindful of the. Yeah. Please come. Don't be shy. Come. So I'll count 1, 2, 3. Then all of us should be here. So it's 11:38. By 11:40 we should be able to be done. Please come. Please come. The developers, AI enthusiasts, founders, collectively. Guys, there's a whole chair for you. Yeah? Please come.